of and the kind invitation of João Paulo for this to be here today with you. I will first apologize for this delay in starting, but we have been having some problems. So even in the digital society, we still, and I'm in the European Parliament in Brussels, but the connections here sometimes is much easier when I'm at home than here in the European Parliament. So I really apologize, but I hope that now this is working fine. So I will speak about the most recent news about the research and innovation in Europe, and I will start with a more policy-oriented, that is the European research area, and I will end with the financial funds, the financial instruments, that is mainly Horizon Europe, the partnerships, the EIT, and what we expect that the Recovery and Resilience Plan will be for research and innovation. We are at this week discussing the proposal of a resolution that we will present in plenary next week, exactly on the new or renew European research area. We are presenting, I was the rapporteur in name of my political group on this important resolution, and is a resolution that sets up the main priorities of the policy of the European, the policy in Europe for research and innovation. And we have presented a document that has set the main principles in the research area and the principles and values, such as the academic freedom that for us and for our group and for the European Parliament in general are very important. The principles of research integrity in science, and also the questions related with the ethics in research in science in general and in new technologies in particular. So all these principles are have been always important, but as we go to more and more to emerging technologies, to the digital world, to the application of artificial intelligence, we have the need to have a strong support of the ethical principles in science and technology. A second point that for us is very important, and we have said in this resolution in the European Parliament, is the research enabling conditions. We need to have in Europe better conditions for research. From the infrastructures, we need to have modern research infrastructures, and on that I'm very pleased to have been also the rapporteur of the high performance computing. We have launched 1 week ago a consortium that is part of this high performance computing program, that we will also bring a supercomputer to Portugal, to the north of Portugal, that will serve the whole country. And this was launched together with Commissioner Maria Gabriel and Minister Rector in Guimarães. So it's a very important, and I was also a rapporteur of that. And this is an example what we consider that we need to have good modern infrastructures for our research. But not only the research enabled conditions, we also need to have good careers for our researchers, good conditions in terms of progress in their careers, and we are mainly worried about the young researchers that have encountering difficulties, and these difficulties were even made more severe with the COVID-19. So in terms of precarity, in terms of salaries, in terms of barriers in mobility, the portability of pensions, the fact that they live until very late with grants. So all this we have been addressing and asking the Commission to have a framework conditions in Europe that makes the research career more attractive and more stable. We also address the question of funding, and we ask that the member states and private sector do an extra effort to increase the funding of research and innovation, so that we aim at the 3% of GDP, 3% that we had request for 2010. Now we are in 2021 and we still are far away from that objective. But we have an opportunity in the next years, if the member states devote part of their available budget of the Research and Recovery Plan and then of their regional funds to research and innovation, that we can get near that objective. For the time being, the Commission and the Parliament is follow the plans, the research and the recovery and resilience plans that have been already delivered by the member states, and we are not very optimistic to the amount that has been devoted to research. We would expect that would be a larger share of funds that would have been devoted to research. So I draw the attention to all that you make pressure in your governments that part of the recovery and resilience funds, that is a considerable amount of funds that is devoted to research and innovation. And there is several reasons for that. The one is that is probably the best policy where you can invest that will contribute to recovery and to jobs. And the second, this is money that the Commission has borrowed and needs to be paid for by the future generations. And so nothing better for future generations than investing in skills and research and innovation. So we have pressure from the European Parliament that there is a higher percentage than the ones that are now the member states are planning to devote to research and innovation in the recovery plan. Another point that we have considered in this is the innovation gap that we have in Europe. Still, we have lots of difference from member states to member states in terms of investment, in terms of conditions to do research, in terms of attractiveness. And we consider to have a brain drain from South and Eastern Europe to the center of Europe or to outside Europe. So we are also expecting that there are the necessary reforms in the member states, that they enable the ecosystem of innovation to develop, so that we don't have such a difference between the member states in terms of research and innovation. It's not only a question of budget, it's also a question of reforms in universities, less bureaucracy, more private sector, a more vibrant private sector that engage into research. All this has also been considering in our in the funds that we are promoting at European level. So these chapters are the main guidelines for the policy at European level. So principles, careers, investment, the gap between the different countries and the different regions, the access to infrastructure, so the enabling conditions. So mainly the main parts of our policy for research and innovation. As you probably know, we have, on top of the policy, we have a very important fund to finance research and innovation. That is our third fund in terms of budget after agriculture and regional funds. That is the Horizon it was Horizon 2020 that I was rapporteur, now is Horizon Europe. Horizon Europe builds on the success of Horizon 2020. It keeps the same structure, three main pillars. It has increased the budget also by the pressure of the Parliament. So in the negotiation of the budget, the Parliament had three red lines. We didn't approve the Parliament until the Council has agreed to increase the budget for research, the budget for Erasmus, and the budget for the EU for Health, were the three main priorities of the Parliament, and we managed to get an agreement. So this Horizon Europe has 95.5 billion. The previous Horizon 2020 had 80 billion. So it was not as much as we would like. We had the proposal of the Parliament 120, but it's still an increase compared with the previous one. So we keep the structure. In Pillar 1, we didn't change much because the Pillar 1 of Horizon 2020 was very successful. It's the pillar devoted to fundamental research. And if we have young researchers in the beginning of career, this is a pillar that is very much devoted to them. We have here the Marie Curie fellowships that are very important for the young researchers, and we have the European Research Council. So all that for fundamental research, bottom-up research, that have been quite successful. We are very proud that one of the most, I may say, successful vaccine that has been developed, the BioNTech, has been co-financed by different research projects. It started in fifth framework program, after 6, 7, and in Horizon 2020, the CEO of BioNTech was developing this concept, this technology with the European Research Council grant. So we were the ones that have bet on this technology from the beginning, and because we believe on fundamental research and bottom-up research, and we are very proud that we have contributed, of course, with the member states' money and private money, but we have helped to find one of the important solutions for the present pandemic. But this grant is an example of many others of very important results that we got from the European Research Council. We have in Pillar 2 the collaborative research, so the consortium, devoting the main priorities. First one is health. Second, and this is the second is a novelty, we have a line for culture and creative sector. So we have considered culture and the creative as an important priority in several areas in the European funding, not only in Horizon, but also in the industrial strategy. And this has been also due to the European Parliament. We have the civil, we have security, we have the digital, the industry, space, climate, energy and mobility, food, bioeconomy and natural resources, agriculture and environment. These are the main priorities in Pillar 2, because in Pillar 1 we don't define priorities, is bottom-up research, anything is only excellence of the subject and of the team that counts. In Pillar 2 there are predefined priorities. Here we have, inside this pillar, we have the famous missions. That is a new concept, that is ideas where we have, for example, the cancer mission, that is large initiatives that involves not only research and innovation, but tries to go into the society, involve the patients in this case of the cancer, involving the health system, and involve the society at general. And we have also the partnerships, public to private partnerships. Here, I'm the rapporteur of these public to private partnerships. What are these? institutionalized, so there is part of the budget is from Horizon and equal sum of budget is from industry that get together and they agree on the cost. So we are very much devoted to areas where the private sector is very much interested. We have two in the areas of health. One is the Innovative Health Initiative, mainly devoted to, so it's a partnership between the EU and the pharmaceutical industry, but also medical devices industry, digital, imaging, but all relate with health. And they are mainly devoted to the major chronic diseases in Europe, cardiovascular, cancer, diabetes. And we have a second one that is global health, that is mainly devoted to the global threats like pandemics, but also malaria, AIDS, tuberculosis, also neglected diseases, and poverty-related diseases. But we have here the clean aviation, the clean rail, the hydrogen partnership, the bioeconomy, the circular economy. We have a new one on 5G and preparing the 6G, so digital. We have another one in key digital technologies. So there are in total 11 partnerships. And I had the honor or the privilege to have, and the hard work to be rapporteur of these 11 partnerships. So the open calls, there is more, in this area there are more target and applied research, and is a part of Horizon, because part of them already exist in Horizon 2020, is a part of Horizon where the funding has been very concentrated in some countries, the more industrialized countries. So one thing that I'm doing as rapporteur is trying to open up this partnership so that we have a better geographical balance in Europe, and that we don't have very concentrated in the very industrialized countries. Because take clean aviation, of course, there is we have a strong community in France, Germany, Holland, but you also have companies and you also have research centers and universities that are that are excellent all over Europe, in Portugal, in Romania, that has so much tradition in aviation, all over. So we need to make sure that these pockets of excellence are also part of the partnership, that they apply and they have conditions to apply and they are successful. This has not happened until now. So I hope that with my amendments and the report, I will make these partnerships more open, more transparent, and that the result will be a better geographical balance with more participation of research centers, universities, and also more balance geographically across Europe. So this is Pillar 2. In Pillar 3, we have a novelty that is the European Innovation Council. This replaces what it was in the past, the SME instrument, and is mainly targeted at SMEs and startups, very disruptive innovation. So in certain way, we try to mirror for innovation the success of European Research Council. So it's a European Research Council, but for innovation. It's not so easy. It's easier to identify excellent research than to identify excellence innovation. You never know what will be the innovation that will make a big breakthrough. So it's more difficult to select the projects and in the innovation than in the fundamental research. But we hope that this European Innovation Council will be as successful as the European Research Council. And we have the EIT, that is the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. It's a very interesting part of Horizon because it's the only part that combines higher education, research, and innovation, the triangle. All the rest do not have higher education per se. Here is supposed to have postdoctoral courses, research projects, creation of startups. So it mixes the three corners of the triangle of the innovation. The higher education, the science, and the innovation. Is organized in KICs, knowledge innovation communities. We have from the beginning digital kick, climate kick, energy, food, raw materials, transport, health kick. Now, for this new period, 7 years, the old kicks will continue. And I was also a rapporteur of the EIT together with my colleague Marisa Matias. And we have included 2 new areas. One is water, including the oceans, so the blue economy. And the second one, actually is going to be the first one because the call is going to open first, is culture and creativity. So we will have a kick on culture and creativity, and later on, one on water. So I draw the attention for this because it's a very interest for the Portuguese and the European universities because it combines really the higher education, the science, and the innovation. So, horizontal to all of this, we will continue to have the widening participation that is a budget that is devoted to the countries that have lower participation. So we'll continue with schemes like the twinning and the teaming, when you partner an institution from a region or a country that has less participation with one country that has a higher participation in Horizon Europe. And there, it's also very important for example, in Horizon 2020, I know that Portugal was very successful, and namely U.Porto was very successful in these parts of the twinning and the teaming. You have a teaming on biodiversity with a very high budget, and there are several across Portugal. And this has been also very successful in the EU 13, in the Eastern European countries. They have had many of these projects on teaming and twinning. So this we will continue, and that is very important that we have a better balanced distribution all over Horizon Europe. We try also to address transversal questions like the simplification. We managed to simplify a little bit more. I had already done this in Horizon 2020. However, we're still not very happy. It's still quite complex to all the process. We have tried simplification in administration, simplification in the financial part, and also in the reporting. So I hope that when you will apply, we will feel that is a bit simpler than before. This Horizon was finalized in the beginning of this year. The partnerships we are finalizing now. The first working program of Horizon was already published, and they are having now the first information days, so that the calls will be very, very soon. So plenty of calls in all these subjects. So you should get prepared to apply. And another point that we have very horizontal and transversal to all these, we have made the synergies with the other funds, such as the regional funds, such as the Recovery and Resilient Plan. So that you can finance part of your projects through Horizon Europe and another part from the Resilience and Recovery Plan. For example, more fundamental research you apply in Horizon, and the proof of concept or the demonstration you can apply to a regional fund in your region or to the Resilience and Recovery Plan. This is something that we have included, that we have agreed with all the member states, and we have the support of the member states. So I hope that in practice that will be possible, because in this way we will enlarge the budget that is devoted to research and innovation. So this is, in very general lines, the possibilities that researchers will have in the near future. I hope that everyone is very successful in their proposals, and that this both the policy that we are designing and the programs that we are designing will have as a result that we will have a lot of researchers staying in Europe and developing also knowledge in Europe that will contribute for our well-being and also for the competitiveness of our economy. And thanks again for your attention.
Thank you very much for this excellent summary of what Europe is doing for research, not only for research but for innovation, and I wish very good work for the new innovation structure that is will be supporting projects for, in particular, SMEs. I don't know if we have time for questions, but I guess we are a bit late, so I'd like to thank again Professor Graça Carvalho. And now we will pass the word to the Rector of the University of Porto, and not only change the person speaking, but changing the languages of the talk. So I suggest that if you don't understand English, if you don't understand Portuguese, you should get a translator, real-time translator for the next speech. Thank you very much. And the word is from our Rector. Thank you very much. Muito obrigado, Sr. Reitor.
Thank you very much, João. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings for everyone, and a special greeting for Professor João Falcão e Cunha, the Dean of FEUP, who I congratulate for holding this fourth Doctoral Congress in Engineering. I would also like to greet Professor Maria da Graça Carvalho, who greatly honors us with their presence in this Congress. It is with interest and the satisfaction that I participate in this closing session, aware of the importance of the Doctoral Congress in Engineering for the scientific preparation of PhD students at the Faculty of Engineering of the University of Portugal. The Doctoral Congress in Engineering is a scientific event full of potential, since it gives doctoral students the opportunity to present and debate their research projects in front of colleagues, professors, researchers, and companies. In this sense, the event that is now pending represents for many young researchers the opportunity to publicly reveal the results of their projects, to train the presentation of scientific communications, to discuss methodological issues, to promote new investigations in their areas of study, and to share knowledge in an interdisciplinary logic. With the current degree of sophistication and scientific competitiveness, it is essential that doctoral students gain skills in communication, problematization, debate, and scientific dissemination. Therefore, they need to have experiences like the ones offered by this Congress, in which doctoral students are subject to the scrutiny of their peers and seek from the synergies generated at the event new lines of research for their projects. The University of Porto supports events with these characteristics and objectives, where that the building of science is built in all areas without exception through the accumulation of knowledge produced by different researchers. Therefore, it is important to create platforms where researchers can share knowledge, debate ideas, reveal results, and establish contacts, as is the case of this Congress. Furthermore, this Congress is also an opportunity to bring the Faculty of Engineering scientific ecosystem closer to the business fabric, making known the economic potential of different research projects, and in particular, the talent of engineering doctoral students. Technical specialization, research experience, capacity of innovation, mastery of technologies, multidisciplinary knowledge, and methodical discipline are some of the skills developed in doctoral programs in engineering. All these skills have gained renewed importance in the current fourth industrial revolution, a concept that embodies an improvement in efficiency and processes through the convergence of digital, physical, and biological technologies. The evolution of the Portuguese productive fabric towards Industry 4.0 implies a considerable effort in terms of innovation, digital transformation, product development, and technology transfer. In this sense, companies will have to incorporate much of the knowledge that originates from different branches of modern engineering or from the intersection of engineering with other fields of knowledge. That's why I believe in a greater incorporation of engineering doctorates in the productive fabric. I'm convinced that our engineers will play an increasingly important role in the industry, thus contributing to strengthening the competitiveness, sophistication, and internationalization of the Portuguese economy. But we still need to better reconcile the two cultures. The academic culture, which is fundamentally theoretical, favors the expansion of knowledge as a long-term perspective and the logic of sharing results. And the business culture, which is eminently practical, seeks economic results, seeks to quickly recover the investment, and obeys confidentiality rules. Bringing the two cultures together can bring more doctorates to companies, thus reducing the deficit of postgraduate talent in our productive fabric. The importance of doctorates in the productive fabric seems evident to me. It is about qualifying companies with human capital endowed with differentiated knowledge, digital skills, and ability to lead projects. With more doctorates, companies are better able to invest in innovation and from there develop more competitive goods and services. Furthermore, the level of qualification of human resources is a factor in attracting investment, which is currently oriented in terms of available talent. Ladies and gentlemen, the Faculty of Engineering presents and offers a doctoral program of great quality, diversity, and multidisciplinarity. In a scientific system and in a labor market that privileges advanced technological skills, there are good career prospects for the FEUP doctorate. It only remains for me to wish all the best personal, academic, and professional happiness to the PhD students of the Faculty of Engineering. I am especially grateful to doctoral students who presented scientific projects at this Congress and their academic work enhances FEUP and the University of Porto. Thank you very much for your attention and all the good for your life.
Thank you, Rector. Thank you very much for your intervention. Professor Falcão and Cunha would like to close the Congress.
Tem o microfone ligado.
Oh. Okay.
It's closed, so no more words. Just thank you very much all involved, in particular Professora Graça Carvalho and Professor Sousa, Rector of the University of Porto. It was an honor to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. I think we can close. Thank you very much. And have a nice evening to everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Deus, boa noite.
Obrigado, professora.
Não, obrigada pelo convite.
Muito obrigado por terem estado presentes.
Desculpem por esta confusão da ligação.
Eu gostava de saber como é que se fazem estas mãozinhas, mas não sei.
Tem que ser, não pode ser speaker.
As palmas.
New technologies. Muito obrigado mais uma vez.